What's up, guys? You're tuned in with Tru-Nazz. Drop that beat. So today we're getting into how to build weapon damage for the Pestilence and the Ticks. Or for even both. Huh? Yeah. So let's dive right into it. The first misconception is the Pestilence Ticks is a status effect. Sorry, but it's not. That is completely wrong. So all that time that you spend trying to build a status build or status effect, put status effect into trying to make the ticks last longer or quote unquote make it stronger. Sorry. The plague of the outcast cast is not a status effect. It is a debuff. Per my last video that I post, some guy saying I need status. For a second I didn't understand until I finally understood on the third round after I beat him. He was talking about the ticks. So I thought it was a good idea to explain the Pestilence and explained how to build damage for the gun itself and make your Pestilent ticks either stronger or also stronger. You like how I did that there. So let's get right into the build that I have on right now, which is an old build. I just need to point that out. Before Tipping Scales was released, this was an old build. So we're going to get right into it with the Pestilence. As you see, this is the Plague of the Outcast. Hits apply debuff, dealing 100% weapon damage over 10 seconds. 10 seconds. This stacks up to 50 times. Whenever an enemy dies with this debuff, 100% of the stacks are refreshed to the random enemy within 25 meters. Again, debuff. It's not a status effect like shock, bleed, or dizzy, or whatever it may be. So it is a debuff. And that debuff is only affected by weapon damage, or LMG damage, or damage to targets out of cover, or damage to health, or damage to armor. Damage. Now I'm also curious if hit damage plays a role, because that'd be very interesting as well. So I will test that out. I know that crit damage plays a role as well for close combat, so that's the reason why I prefer having sometimes tipping the scale for more crit damage rather than crit chance. However, both play their role in crit chance increases the accuracy and the amount of chances the bullets land. Crit damage increases the damage overall from the weapon damage, base damage of the gun, and how strong and how powerful it hits. So finding a balance, or leaning to, or trying to make your ticks stronger over 10 seconds is your decision. And like I said, before Tipping Scales was released, I was running this build. 2 pieces Lingmo, Talent Unbreakable, Picario's holster, Contractor's gloves, Walker & Harris knee pads, and Messenger bag, Ninja Bike backpack. Now let's look into the stats here so you can better understand what I'm talking about. We're talking about 129,000 weapon damage, and we're looking at PvP weapon damage. It'd be 43,000. Crit chance coming in at 28%, crit damage at 129%, and headshot damage at 85%, armor damage 19%. With all that, it's all multiplicative to damage all the way. Now all I was missing is health damage, and probably if I could find a way to squeeze that in there, definitely would have played a role at increasing the overall weapon damage and PvP weapon damage. That's why it's hitting at 43. Now, go on to the next here, which will give you the weapon core and total offensive, which is 100% all weapon damage bonus. Weapon damage bonus. We're talking about, we're getting the red core from the Ninja Bike messenger bag, the red core from the contractor's gloves, the red core from the Walker and Harris knee pads, and then the weapon damage red core from the Bacario's holster. We're also getting the damage to armor from the contractor's gloves, the 8%, and the weapon damage and damage to armor that you get from the Walker and Harris. That multiplicative is also added on there. And then you also get the weapon damage, the weapon cores that you get from your watch. That's 50%, which gives you a total of 100% damage bonus. So with all of that, that's why you're looking at 100% total overall damage bonus. Now, when you go down, you're going to see where it says LMG or light machine gun damage bonus. You're getting 70% LMG damage. I mean, that's all together multiplicative. So if I'm adding 70, that's what my gun is hitting. That's how hard additional damage that my gun is specifically hitting. The 100% is all weapon damage. That's going for your Pestilence tick. So you can understand where you're also, like, where you're gauging what you're leaning more to. For me, when it comes to PvP, I find it more important now with tipping scale gear set out. I find it more to have my LMG hitting so hard while my weapon damage overall is at maybe 70-80%. Now, the difference, and I'll show you with the new build, the difference right now is maybe 100,000. With when I'm talking about the tick, the Pestilence plague tick, is probably like 100,000 of a difference. So with that in mind, I want you guys to understand, if you're playing PvP and your gun is hitting like a truck, and then you go to reload or you move off and the ticks are also hitting like a truck, I mean, this is the reason why this gun is so efficient and so good. So that misconception about the ticks or the plague or the outcast plague, however one want to say it, is basically or solely affected by status. Please understand, it's 10 seconds over time. It's a debuff. It is not a status. It is weapon damage. And in order to reach maximum efficient on damage, this is the old build, and this with tipping scale is the new build. And that is how you reach maximum damage with your gun. Now, I have tried many different ways. Now, if you have a better build, please leave a post, leave a comment. Let me know. Let me see what you can do. You know, again, my old build was where I had it 100%, and then that's the total, mainly focusing on the ticks with 70% LMG damage, which means my fighting style had to change from a long to mid range where I can actually, fight and engage and win every single time if it was 1v1 or with a crowd. But now with tipping scales, 100% LMG damage, and then being able to hit with a total of extra 70% total weapon damage for bonus. I mean, it's ridiculous, the things that I'm doing right now, and I'll show you proof. You know me. I'm gonna give the people what they want. They want to see the footage. I'm gonna show you the proof. You want to see the truth? You want to see? Okay, yeah. So yeah. But yeah. Just understand, guys, the misconception. It is not status effect. It is solely on damage, weapon damage, any kind of damage. We're talking about damage to armor, damage to health, armor damage, well, it's just damage to armor. Headshot damage, I will be testing that, guys. Like I said, I will test that out. I'm going to find out, because then, you know, truth be told, I probably will replace all the crit chance with headshot damage. But anyways, so I'm gonna test that out and let you know. But enjoy this new build that I made, and look at what it is doing in a DZ. Again, this is Nazz. Enjoy. Like, subscribe, share if it is helpful. Thank you for tuning in. Tru-Nazz out.
Rogue agent neutralized.
This guy is such a good.
GG's.
Oh, good.